This is Matt for Boxing Social in association with William Hill and Empire Fight Store. I'm delighted to be joined now by two-time two-weight world champion in Teofimo Lopez. Teo, I appreciate you joining us. Just talk to me. I mean, you've just had a great victory over an elite level fighter such as Josh Taylor. It's been a few days now. How do you feel? I know you're sort of banged up around the eye, but you must be in good spirits.
No, absolutely. I mean, very much so. Very grateful for this and great spirits. Yes, looking forward to many new things. Over this horizon and over for my retirement as well.
Now you mentioned this retirement a few times. We've spoke before, and I've seen you fight plenty of times. You're 25 years of age. You were a former, unofficially but officially in everyone's eyes, undisputed world champion. You've just beat a guy who was the undisputed. You call yourself the double greatest. You showed, you're an elite level world fighter. Why now? Why is now the time where you go, no more? Why?
I think, the reason why is because of the understanding of what's going on in the sport of the boxing business, so to speak. I noticed that, this right here is a great move and a momentum for me. I'm very happy with this accomplishment. I could be content and sit back and say, at least I did something that no man has ever done. And that right there alone is great for me. I can live with that. I don't have any regrets. And I didn't come to boxing to stay fighting all the way to 38, 40 years old. I came to boxing to be the greatest, make history, and be in the Hall of Fame and move on to something bigger and better for my life.
Okay, well, if it's not boxing, then you say move on to something bigger and better. What are your plans? What would you do if you don't box?
Well, if I'm not a fighter, boxing is always going to be in my life. So what comes next will be, becoming a trainer, opening my gym in South Florida. Having a combat sport gym, so have MMA and boxing, and become that person that promotes fighters as well. I'm basically, my Takeover Promotions is branded everywhere across the globe. Is what my next goal is to do, and on top of that, I think just commentate and always be in the sport of boxing. I love boxing. That's never gonna go away from me in my heart. I think that it's just the fighting has gotten a little too much now. And what I mean by the fighting has gotten too much now is because of the fact that I'm not just fighting the fighter anymore. I'm fighting the referees. I'm fighting I'm fighting the judges. I'm fighting the commentators, the cornermen of the fighters. It's no longer just one man versus one man anymore at this point.
We'll come on to the fight in a minute, but let's just talk about that. You mentioned trainers. Now, yours and your dad's is a special relationship, and you both, not just yourself, you both received a lot of criticism, the past couple of fights, and we saw a moment between yourself and your dad in that just before the last round where you look up and just say, I've got him, I love you. What was that moment like, not just for you, but for him as well? Because you really do go in there with that back against the wall mentality. It's us against the world, fuck what everybody thinks kind of attitude.
No, yeah, absolutely. I was just telling him, we got this in the bag, don't we? Like, keep doing what you're doing, keep giving me the instructions you need to give me. You're doing great with that. But in between that, I'm like, hey man, you're my father, and at the same time, I just want to let you know I love you. Thank you for everything, because he didn't know it. He didn't know that I was gonna retire after this, or at least announce it. And so I just wanted to give him my thanks and everything before that. So
you said a lot in the build up to this fight. You had a lot of people, and I'll be honest, including myself. You watch videos, the things you say, and everyone sort of. And I know you're not silly. Like, yeah, I know you will throw things, west and left, right, and stuff like that. To maybe was all this in the build up? Was a lot of it part of the fight for you? To say certain things, maybe make people think, what, this isn't Teo. This isn't Teo, because you turned up and you I'm still here. You must have done some of that for to throw people off, because it worked. like perfectly.
Oh, absolutely. You got to think about it. You know, when you get to this point in your career, you dictate how you want people to talk about you in your career. So I was like, you know what? Let's turn all the positive. Now let's turn this into a bad narrative of Teofimo. He's done. He's mentally ill. He's this. He's that. Which is interesting. You know, mental illness is not a thing to take lightly. You know, and when people say that and they bully on me, saying that I'm mentally ill, they attack me for it, and but if Ryan Garcia is mentally ill, take a break off, you deserve it. They give people these other things. But I'm straying away from what you're asking. But it's just really I took advantage of that. I felt like, you know what, they don't have anything else to say about me, but try to say that I'm not right in the head. So I was like, great, great. I needed that. So let me change it, make the bad into a good thing for me.
Do you not think, because a lot of the things that were coming from sort of my end, obviously in the media, and like I said, we were there ringside. I think a lot of the things that were said in the build-up, there was more of concern. I know you'll have seen the negative comments because being a fighter and you're in the public eye and doing what you do, you will get criticism left, right, and centre. That's just what happens at the
Yeah.
high end. It's a sad world in terms of that kind of thing. But there was a lot of concern because of the things you were saying. Are you going through anything outside of boxing now that is weighing you down and things like that? Because when you got in that ring, it just looks like, you
Nah,
know,
nothing. Such is life. Everything builds you. It doesn't bring you down. So I think for everybody, I think really no. I'm at a great place right now. I'm about to go see my son. I haven't seen him in months, so I'm gonna spend time with him, especially for Father's Day, which is coming up here in the States. So I'm just gonna have that quality time with my son. I think that's the main thing that I'm really enjoying from all of this, mainly. And teaching him the ones and twos, because although we call him Liam, his first name is Teofimo. He has my name. He's the fifth. He's the fifth Teofimo, and I got to start teaching him to be prepared, because he's just as great, if not greater than what I am. And not a lot of people know that yet, but they will soon. Yep.
I saw you yesterday. I looked at your stories. Obviously, you said a few things. Let's just go through them quickly. Probably on a positive note. You mentioned about Ryan Garcia had been straight in your DMs after the fight.
Yeah.
Is he clamoring for a fight with you straight off the back of your victory? Is that what he was trying to do, or what's he saying?
No, yeah, of course. I mean, people been talking about it. My manager was speaking on it as well. Like, after this fight, let's go Ryan Garcia. It'll be good money, this and that. But it's like, see, even though I'm asking for money to come back in the sport, that's not the kind of money I really am looking for. 10 million, $12 million. I know for a lot of people seems like a lot, but you guys got to really do your research. If they put this fight, most likely they'll try to put it on pay-per-view. These promoters and networks and everything are gonna make so much more off of us than we are off of them. And these fighters don't just quite understand that, and on top of that, I hold the ring. I hold the WBO. I'm number one in the division. So for Ryan Garcia, it's more of a push for him after him just losing to Tank Davis. So, when you have the ball in your court, you got to know how to use it and when to shoot it. That's really it.
What do you think of Javante then? Obviously, he's the one who beat Ryan.
Yeah,
Consider would you
Ryan is not see, the thing is, Ryan's not a skillful fighter. I mean, he's not talented in that way. I mean, the matchmakers will even tell you he's not talented in that way. And it's the only reason why Tank took the fight, and the only reason why Tank made sure that he did the 10-pound rehydration clause is because, like, okay, well, we could stay and keep him drained in the meantime as well, and we'll beat him.
so for you now, like retired life, that's where you're focused on. But
Feels good. It feels good.
But you mentioned obviously, look, it is about money, and obviously you want that respect of look what I've achieved. I beat Lomachenko, and nobody gave me a chance. I came and you took an L against Cambosos, but you came back against Sandor Martin. You've now just beaten Josh Taylor, who was quote unquote the undisputed. So for you, is this now about, look, I'll come back, but you've got to make sure I am paid to the level that I deserve, kind of thing?
Um, The only way, listen, like the only way I come back is, like I said, it's a multi nine figure deal, but it has to be. See, people misunderstand what I mean. It's not just one fight. I'm looking at 3 to 5 years, or like a 6 or 8 fight deal, um, with a network, not with a promoter or anything, but just directly with a network, because I am my own promotion. And the only reason why is because I know what the boxing industry is going to do to me if I come back, and I'm okay with that. I'll sacrifice my greatness for it, as long as my family is going to be well and secured after that. Because that's really what matters to me, is setting the trend of generation and generation and generations. Generational wealth is the most important thing. I want my sons to live off of the things that their father or their great grandfather or grandfather did for them, and that's really what's the most important thing. So I know if I go back, that's why. No one expected me to call out retirement. They all expected me to say I'll fight Tank Davis and all this other bullshit, but I'm not in there. I know what I'm a businessman. I'm very smart. I'm not a stupid kid. I'm a very intelligent kid. And I use the narratives that they put out there sometimes, even the ones that they're concerned about. I use it to my benefit and to my actual liking. It's so easy now. It's like you become Picasso. You become the guy, that could paint whatever you want the world to see.
Yeah, you become Picasso, and you turned up for the press conference looking like Scarface. You did a lot. You did a lot fight week. Look, Tio. In terms of what's next now, you obviously mentioned where you're going, and you mentioned about the money side of it and things like that. But what's, I suppose, what's left for you to achieve in boxing if you came back? Is it like what would you want to do? If you mentioned you've got your own promotional company, so you're in the driving seat now, whatever happens, because people will want to sign you, like, quite clearly. So what would drive you for this next part if you do come back? Is it legacy? Is it purely money?
Just legacy. That's all I am on that. Building more legacy. Collecting more rings, collecting more championships. So really, for me, it's always been about the belts. That'll never change. That'll never change. For me, it's that's the only thing that will bring me back. Is if there's another undisputed out there, let's take them. You know.
Well, look, let's leave it on a positive message. Have you got a message to all your fans, the ones who stuck with you through the good times on the way up,
Yes.
your blips, and the ones where you're back now and you're back on top? You got a message for all them people?
To all my people that supported me throughout this roller coaster ride that we've had, the journey that I've had, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for understanding and knowing that boxing. You know boxing very well, and you believed in me, and I believe in you. So if you believe in me as just as much when the world was against me, now put it on to you and watch how great you could become. And that goes for everyone from every kind. And I'm here to give back to the boxing community. I'm here to give back to everyone out there and give everyone a fighting chance, in the industry and in entertainment of sport of boxing. So I really want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart, across the worldwide takeover. And we really did that. My win on Saturday night against Josh Taylor wasn't just for myself. My win was everybody's win. Whoever believed in us and whoever's team takeover, team Teofimo Lopez, we all won, and we just did that again. So thank you again. I love you all so much. Let's go.
Yeah, look, I always appreciate your time. Thanks for doing this. Obviously, I know you're on the way to the airport and whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate it, and we'll catch up again. Hopefully, when you work out what's going to be next.
Only time will tell. Time is my best friend. So I think that I'm not stressing about it. I think now I have that time to open up the boxing gym and the fitness gym that I really have in mind. So I have a lot of great things in mind that I could take advantage of in this time that I'm retired. So it feels great. It feels great. It feels such a relief because now I fucked everybody's plans, as it should be, as it should be, as it should be. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the greatest feeling in the world. Not just, you know, not just saying you're retired, but fucking everybody's plans up. That's the greatest feeling.
Okay,
That's something. There's another thing though.
go
There's
on.
another thing I really want to help these fighters. If you have a manager, if you have a manager, understand this, and I think that all the fighters need to hear this from a professional standpoint. Um, if you have a manager, understand that is not your boss. You are the boss of that manager. You tell him what to do. You tell them how you need to be managed. And if they can't meet your ends, well, here's a great thing. You just fire them. You just fire them. That's it. It's a very simple thing. It's not that hard. I may fire my manager. We'll see.
Funny me you say that.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. He's been a little funny. We'll see.
No worries.
All right, guys.
Appreciate your time, bro. Thank you.
Always.